was about 7 miles from our hotel to the south entrance gate, and we hit construction almost immediately. We did have to stop several times, and it took about a half an hour for us to actually get those 7 miles, but we were still fairly early into the park. One of the benefits, I guess you could say, was that we got to see the traffic that was going through the gate ahead of us, and it was still pretty light. Sequioa National Park is the second oldest national park in the United States. It was established in 1890 by the 23rd president, Benjamin Harrison. It was established almost solely for the reason of protecting giant sequoias from timber harvesting. Countless giant sequoias were felled and cut up for timber, but the tragedy in this is that shortly after they really started cutting down a lot of the big ones, they found out that sequoia splinters and isn't even good wood to use for lumber. Here's Dad and I pulling up to the sign right past the Ash Mountain entrance.
I'm stopping. I'm taking my helmet off.
Yep.
Can I get a picture? Can I get a picture there?
Yeah. It was shortly after this point I realized that I parked us like jagoffs and then proceeded to take this beautiful shot right here for 8.5 minutes.
And I saw you.
Yep.
Then you stopped.
Yep. I did. I wanted to get that spot, but then I saw it was no parking, and I was like,
It's all right.
Just bad decision making all around on where we decided to put our bikes.
I can limp.
Still have rocks in my gloves somehow. Still have rocks in my gloves.
Yeah.
Don't know how that happened. Yeah, it's beautiful. Like,
Yes, it is.
absolutely underrated park. This section of roadway that you can see underneath Tunnel Rock was the original roadway that was cut in 1938 by the Civilian Conservation Corps. And for a really, really long time, you would drive under this to get into the park but when the road was widened, they had to reroute around it. So now it's just like one of the early stops as you get into the park. These are Dad's photos that he sent to me, so I've been incorporating them in the video. I like this one a lot. That's actually from a overlook that we stopped at just a couple minutes earlier. But I had to trim a lot of stuff out for time on this one. Though I am going to do a bonus video of us riding on General's Highway because that was absolutely amazing. I told Dad last night I think that he should lead this portion of the ride today. Pretty straightforward. You stay on the road, have a great time until you see signs for General Sherman. Here's us entering Giant Forest. These trees were absolutely massive, right by the side of the road. The giant sequoia is the world's largest tree. Height can be anywhere from 200 to almost 300 feet. The tallest ones, which Sequioa National Park has 5 of the world's 10 largest trees, can get above 300 feet. They are endangered. There are only 80,000 of them in their original range, and their original range is only in the Sierra Nevadas in California. But they are a very popular tree to be planted elsewhere around the world. I had mentioned before that they were unsuitable for lumber. It's because the wood itself is very brittle, and they're so big when they were cut down, they would just shatter. And because of that, the most they got used for was fence posts and matchsticks. I've been out west several times and seen large areas burned by forest fires, and I know that it's all part of the cycle of life out here. At the same time, though, it always seems a little bit tragic. General Sherman's estimated age is between 2,700 and 2,900 years old. It's 279 foot tall. What makes it the world's largest tree is by volume. This is a terrible shot of the information plaque right in front of General Sherman, but it has some really cool facts on it. The base of General Sherman is 36.5 feet thick. At 100 foot up, it's almost 14 foot thick. Its biggest branch is 6 foot thick, and it's projected to weigh 1,385 tons. That's almost 5 tons of wood per linear foot.
Hold on a minute.
Okay.
I turned this video on, I can't shut it off.
Yeah.
There's no sense running it.
That's why I was going so fast, so we could get to the stoplight on time.
probably can't read this all well, but this plaque essentially says that there was a giant sequoia that was cut down and sent to Philadelphia for the centennial celebration in 1876, and people on the East Coast thought it was a hoax. Didn't believe that a tree that big could actually exist. Here we're coming up on General Grant. This is the second largest sequoia in the national park. Base diameter has General Sherman beat. General Grant's is 40 foot thick at the base. I took some pictures too. I love the little informational plaques. Gives you some really cool stuff there. The second one saying that Calvin Coolidge dedicated it as America's Christmas tree, and in '56 Dwight D. Eisenhower declared it a living shrine to fallen soldiers. Regretfully, we are leaving the park. We got to see a lot of amazing stuff in Sequoia. And today was actually a really short day mileage-wise. It was only like 174. But I initially planned to be way more ambitious. If we would have stayed on 180, going north, we would have went right into the gate of Kings Canyon National Park, which I was initially really excited about, but when I got a chance to be a little bit more pragmatic and look overall at the day, it just would have been a really long day. Going 25 mostly through the park and then doing a whole bunch of backtracking to get out of it to get this point. And right around here, we still have about 2.5 to 3 hours of riding left. And that's not counting gas stops and butt brakes and anything else that we might stop to check out. If there was one through line for these series of roads that we took from leaving the park, that's it right there. Cattle grates. Dozens and dozens of cattle grates. A lot of them right before a turn or in a turn, right after a turn when you have the bike leaned over. It could be like a little sketchy, a little dicey at times. The roads itself were also strikingly similar to yesterday afternoon. Same thing, I didn't want to shoot back into the valley and take a larger, more traveled road. I wanted to stick to backcountry roads. The surfaces varied. Some of them were like this, which was nice. Other ones were kind of not so well maintained, really skinny, kind of like one-lane roads. There we go. GPS doing its job again, being a holder for the written directions. This is sort of inconsequential, but I really am sort of a written direction kind of guy. The only reason I bought the GPS was just so that I could have a map displayed in front of me, tracking me along, kind of like half zoomed in, so that I wouldn't have to attempt to keep track of mileage in my head or always be on the lookout for road signs. Right here, perfect example. We're on Trimmer Road. This is Pine Flat Lake, and I knew that the route was going to be hugging the shoreline for a while, and we were going to start sort of bearing east, and then Maxon Road was going to be my left. And I don't want to have my phone on the bars. It is, on a trip like this, entirely too valuable. I absolutely do not want it to get lost or destroyed. God forbid if anything were to happen. I didn't turn the camera on in time for all these ladies right here. As I came down the hill, they were all like right along the road, and I rolled off the throttle, and they kind of, took their time getting off the road. But that was not the only time that we would encounter livestock on the road on our way to the hotel. It's a much different experience than trying to ride through a herd of bison in Yellowstone. I really appreciated how chill they were. This is us coming into North Fork. Dad and I are going to stop and get some gas up here, and I will have about 45 seconds left of my battery after we fuel up. So I just grabbed another screenshot of Google Maps to kind of fill in the holes a little. We did a little bit on Toll House Road to Auberry Road, made a left on Powerhouse Road and took that almost into North Fork. Then rode 247 up past Bass Lake until we hit 41 and 41 South, all in preparation tomorrow to get back on 41 and head into Yosemite National Park. Once again, thank you so much for the watch. Stick around for episode 4, Oakhurst, California to Petaluma, California.